What is up, guys? Mattriffmaster here at Bloodstock Festival 2017, and I'm joined by Alex Skolnick. What is up, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm very good, how are you?
Good. It's good to be here at Bloodstock.
Awesome. So we saw Alex absolutely tearing it up with Testament this evening, and I have to say, I know everybody said it, it sounded amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The solos that you pull off are solos that put a smile on my face and thousands of other people.
It seems like we have a good sound crew that
always helps.
Yeah. Not that we didn't before, but I think as the music has evolved, we have a much younger crew. Like they kind of grew up on the music, and they really need sort of know how it should sound. They're really good about making sure that the solos are heard and the little nuances, and also the gear is better. I think the PA systems are. So it used to be this wash, and which was fine. That's not. You didn't go for listening as much as just this intense experience. But now, if you want to listen, and that used to frustrate me because I thought, okay, there's some really cool musical moments going on.
Yeah.
Those should be heard, and now those are heard. So it's great that we can do a festival like this, which is big outdoor crowd.
And it did sound awesome as always, and it was heavy, which was great. So you play guitar, you're awesome. So how long have you been playing?
Oh gosh, over 30 years.
Wow,
I started when I was 10.
That's cool. What got you into wanting to play guitar? What made you want to pick a guitar up?
I think when I was a kid, I was always affected by music. I always got excited by music. When I was, like 5 to 10 years old, I'd get excited by like early rock and roll. Yeah. Every time I would hear stuff like Little Richard and Chuck Berry. There was actually a movie that came out called American Hot Wax, and it featured all these 50s bands. That was a little later, but that was right around the time I started playing. And that was a big influence. And then I was a Kiss fan. So discovering Kiss and just being this devoted Kiss fan really pushed me to play guitar.
And then it happened, and here you are today.
Yeah. Nice.
Practice, I'm assuming a lot of practice is involved.
Yeah. It wasn't all. It was all about Kiss for maybe a year or two, and then it changed. Originally I would look at, like John Lennon and the Beatles and singer guitar players. Yeah. Paul Stanley. But then I heard the first Van Halen record. And then I thought, okay, what have I been missing? It's
absolutely,
lead guitar. Yeah. Like that's when it really registered what a lead guitarist was.
And is that when you thought, right, that's what I want to do? I want to be fiddly, diddly, and widdly, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think.
As opposed to being more sort of rhythm, more like you decided to be more lead than rhythm.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a cliche to say, but it felt electric. When I heard that, I just felt this sense of electricity that I'd never felt. Yeah. And I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but there's this very famous lately this Japanese woman that has this the best-selling method for tidying up and getting rid of stuff, and she, Marie Kondo is her name. And I don't read her books or anything, but I've just you can't like avoid her. She's like all over the media and everything. But I heard her interviewed, and it was interesting. And she says, you want to keep the stuff that gives you joy, that makes you excited. And I think early on I had a sense that that's how it should be with music. And like the stuff like hearing Eddie play Eruption, it just sparked something. And it's amazing that it is years later. And so many of us who play guitar were just affected by that moment.
That's good. When you hear a piece of music and you feel something, you're destined to do that, which is very cool. And it's awesome to see that you've gone from wanting to do it to actually doing it, which is, I've said to a lot of people we spoke to today, they had the dream of wanting to play music and stuff, and now they're doing it, which is great.
So it evolves too. I wanted to be that guy, but then you find out who you are. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but like supposedly Yngwie Malmsteen wanted to be Ritchie Blackmore. That's the story anyway. But obviously he became Yngwie. So.
Yeah, just find your own kind of. I suppose it's good. You've got your influences, and that comes through in your playing sometimes. And then
you can never be the other person.
Exactly. Yeah.
And there's plenty of people that wanted to be Jimi Hendrix. But that's not a good deal. It's not a good bargain because if you were Jimi Hendrix, you wouldn't be alive.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, what advice would you give people that maybe not just starting out, or they want to pursue music as a career, playing guitar? What would your advice be to them?
Well, it definitely connects with what we were talking about earlier. Is stick with what excites you personally. And what do you feel? What music makes you feel good? It may be totally at odds with what's going on. It may be totally at odds with what your friends like.
That's a good message in general, not just music. If something makes you happy, do it. Right?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome, right?
Well, I'll think of an example real quick. Okay. I remember being in the 7th grade, and it was popular at my school to like Ozzy.
Okay.
And everybody had Ozzy Osbourne shirts and stuff. And there were some of the kids would like tease other kids, like, I bet you can't name any Ozzy songs, whatever. And of course I could. But a year or two goes by, and then it's not cool to like Ozzy anymore. Then then it's like at that point it was like they moved on. It was like Tears for Fears and Madness, and so nothing against that music. Tears for Fears is great, but I was even more into Ozzy. I'm learning the tunes, and Randy Rhoads, who was tragically lost. Suddenly I'm this oddball because I'm so 2 years ago because I'm still listening to Ozzy.
That's good. You stick with what you love, and that's awesome. So you're rocking out with Testament, and you mentioned earlier before we started that you're traveling tonight. Where are you off to next after this?
Well, this is strange because where we're coming from makes sense, right? Okay. We are coming from Norway, which at least is in Europe. And then before that, it was Denmark and Finland. Now we go to Brazil.
Wow. That's just a nice little trip. That would be awesome.
So basically a short European tour with festivals, including this one. Got piggybacked onto a Latin American tour.
Cool.
So sometimes that happens. I mean, it's not ideal because we're going to have this horrendous overnight travel, but then we get there and we're off for a couple days, and we can sort of catch up on sleep.
Awesome. Okay, so one more question that I've asked a few of the other people today is, for as a guitar player and your guitar playing and being with Testament, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
You never know. You never know.
Anything you'd like to maybe reach to? Maybe any goals for that kind of time period?
I think I've stopped making predictions.
Right, fair enough. Just go with the flow.
Absolutely. I mean, I think at one time I wasn't, there was a time I was out of Testament and I was just focusing on instrumental music and jazz and stuff. And we started it up again. We got and we ended up. We now have this great lineup: Gene Hoglan and Steve DiGiorgio, and it feels new. And I gotta be honest, I didn't think at this point it would feel new, and I thought we'd mainly do the early stuff, come up with an occasional album, but I'm proud of the music we're doing, and it feels good, and you never know. It could be. You
never know, exactly. Absolutely. Okay, awesome. And one more quick thing. How many hours a day do you practice guitar to get to your level? Because you're pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you. Well, you can't. I think at a certain point in your career, if you're going to play professionally, you you can't go by how many hours.
You don't have time to practice.
You can't set aside time to practice. I mean, you practice, you find the time, but your schedule is so unpredictable, and it also depends on what's going on. Like if I'm preparing to go into the studio, or if I'm learning new music, then I'm probably going to put more time into it. If I'm not on tour, I'll probably make a definite effort to have some time to. But it's to work on music. You don't really think of it as practicing guitar.
I mean, some people obviously scales for hours, but everyone's different, I guess. Does it in their own way.
I think, I guess for me, I think the kind of technical practice, it'll happen on its own.
Absolutely.
I have so many licks that I want to learn by favorite musicians, not just guitar players, piano players, saxophone players, and I'll just once in a while I take one of those licks or transcribe somebody's solo, then there's my technical practice. And
that's cool. It's a productive practice in a way. You're getting something done.
And then there's times where it's good to focus on that. I mean, I tend to do that more for warm-ups. Because warm-ups, you don't want to get too caught up in being creative.
Just get the blood flowing.
If you have to do a show, you can't. I couldn't put off like the Bloodstock set today and say, "Sorry guys, I have this great idea. I'm hearing this melody. I'm laying down the second. No.
Everyone wait.
But when I'm not touring, there are, and actually even on days off, sometimes it happens on tour. Maybe I'll get more in a composition mode. But it really all depends.
That's cool. I like your way of thinking. Very, very chilled out, go with the flow sort of thing. Nothing really planned.
You kind of have to.
Absolutely. You never know what's going to happen, like you said. Well, thank you. It's been awesome chatting with you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking the time. It's been cool. So guys, we've been hanging out with the awesome Alex Skolnick from Testament. And I'm just so excited right here, right now. So I'm going to put everything about Testament in the description of this video. If you've never heard of Testament, that's crazy. Go check them out because they absolutely do kick ass. They are really heavy, and this guy can shred big time. So guys, thanks for watching. Show him some love, and as always, rock out, be awesome. See ya.